where you stand today, each and every one of you in love is at a new beginning. Beginnings are misunderstood in your culture. You think of a beginning as the end of something and a restarting, a full refresh, and imagining that that which has come before no longer exists in any way. In fact, everything you have ever been through exists in your energetic field still, and yet you are of the vibration and knowing that there is nowhere for it to go, while at the same time you are moving beyond what has been before, or usually more accurately, your idea of what has been before. Now, humanity has claimed so much in separation. You claim you know your neighbor, but have never taken the time to actually listen to them. You have decided who they are, who they can be, what they like, what they don't like, what their politics are, and what that means for their sense of value toward you. Yet you rarely understand that they are God in form. They are you at another level of soul, having an experience of body, having an experience of humanity, having an experience of love and joy and loss and sorrow, and overcoming the impossible, the miraculous, if you wish. Each and every human not only has the innate capacity for the miraculous, but we will say it is your birthright. You are of the divinity of all things, and therefore the miraculous is always available to you. Humanity has placed a limit on what is possible, and therefore there is actually so much beyond it, so much that you would call miracle, that are about to happen today in your culture, in your world, and in your lives, we will say. Now, as you move forward in the understanding of who you can only be at the most fundamental levels, you have a different experience of life. You are no longer negotiating through the old realms of who you should be, who others should be to you, how you should claim each other in relationship, both interpersonally and as a collective. When you move forward in this way, you move to a sense of knowing in which all is there for you. Every possibility, every outcome, every iota of information you may need to understand what is of benefit to you, the ones you are with, and the situation collectively or as a whole. What humanity does not understand yet is as you attend to each situation in a new way, in a higher way, we will say, you actually remake the fundamentals of your reality. When each choice is made from a higher alignment or consciousness, you perpetuate this realization of what can be so in each and every moment. And as you do this individually, you do it collectively, even without knowing in many ways. And you start to remake the world you inhabit, the choices that are available to you each, and how you relate to each other at a heart or soul level. This is a most beautiful occurring, and it is unfolding now. Many of the things you don't wish to see in this world are in some ways because of this unfolding. You have ideas on who others should be, how they should act, what it means to be a good or beneficial or valuable person in your society. You do not understand the ways in which you have claimed separation through these titles. The separation you claim is what is being outpictured and visualized now at the higher level that you are attending to. What this means is, as you see the things you don't want to exist in your world anymore, as you see old ideas of war and famine and separation and fear outpictured, as you have understandings of what you no longer wish to be in agreement to at individual and collective levels, you have an unfoldment that comes from a higher choice, from a higher realization that we are of all one species. We are of the same collective karma. We are on a joyous voyage together to something greater, to something better, to something more beautiful. Now, a voyage, if you imagine trekking through uncharted territory, might seem scary at times. It might seem foreboding. You might not know where exactly to make the next step because the trail has not been tread for you yet. You might not know what lurks behind the next corner. You might imagine it's a predator or someone from a village who wishes you harm. These are all ways to be in alignment to your reality, but finally those two are being moved now. You can come to the understanding that the new path, the untread path, is often the highest path. We are helping humanity now claim the untread and highest path. You may understand each step you take forward as a joyous gift. You may understand that behind the foliage that is covering the way forward, there are wonderful things waiting for you, miraculous things waiting for you, ways to be an experience with yourself and those you are making the trek with, beyond anything you have understood before, in beautiful, in sacred, in holy ways. Now, this does not mean you become the Holy One. It means that you, as a collective, understand the inherent holiness that you have always held, that has always been inside you, that has been in and of your heart from the very beginning. This is a teaching of the heart. This is why we come through him down to speak to humanity. You have always had an aptitude or a gift to understand each other, to understand your reality, and finally to connect to God through the heart, through love, through any of the various ways you have claimed language around this idea of feeling, of connectedness, of oneness, finally. The journey back to God is a return to oneness. Now, this does not mean your individuality is erased, which is what the personality self is afraid of. The personality self, to claim a definition, would be the sense of self that knows itself as separate or believes itself to be separate from source, from the one beside them, from their idea of light and dark, body and soul, existence in the physical and beyond the physical. The personality self has claimed a reality through its idea of history, through its idea of collective agreements or bargains, through its ideas of who he or she has been, who others have said or claimed he or she is, and how the collective has claimed humanity to be as and in alignment in each moment. The personality self is actually such an amalgamation of various ideas, so many of which you have not examined or rarely examined where they have come from. You may have thought about your childhood and the ways in which the other kids made fun of you for this and that, and realize that you are no longer those things and therefore let go of them. But very few of you have realized what humanity has claimed as a collective, of who and what people can be, of who and what you should be in relationship to your fellows, of what you should aspire to, of how you should aspire to it, and what it means to be a successful or good or benevolent human being. We will say that in the higher, very few of your ideas of what it means to be good are actually present here. You have claimed so many ideas built from relationship, built from cultural ties, built from ways in which it may have been beneficial at a moment, in a circumstance, in a single relationship to be of benefit to yourself or others. This is the time to move beyond that now. Move to the objective in some ways. Now, when we say objective, what we mean is there is a reality. You may call this God manifest. You may call it the one source unfolding as all things. You may call it whatever you wish. It really matters not what you call it. It has no desire to be called one name or another. It is actually too vast to be named. But this God, this realization of source as all things is ever unfolding in an objective way. Now, the objectivity of God, of reality, does not lessen the subjective experience. It actually adds to it. When you know that all things are God in form, you are no longer judging the subjective experiences that each aspect of God is having. You are no longer saying, this is the one right way to be. This is the truth of what happened in our relationship. This is the experience you should be having or should be knowing yourself as and through. You move to a higher alignment in which you understand that God has come for a myriad of experiences, a multitude or endless number of perspectives or individualities to experience itself as and through and with. You become one piece of this almighty whole that is in relationship to itself and to each other in beautiful and everlasting ways. Now, when you come to realize this wonderful truth, there is a level of play that enters your reality. You are no longer stressing over what it means to be a good spiritual boy or girl. You are no longer stressing over if you are pious enough to be worthy of God. You are no longer stressing over the ideas of what you need to do to get the things you want from God. You move to a sense of realization in which all things are already God. You are already in God. You are already having an experience in each and every moment with each and every thing you encounter as God, with God. Now, when you move to this alignment, to this realization, the level of play that enters is quite healthy because you are no longer perpetuating the old stereotypes of value, of good and bad, of how humanity should be in regard to each other, in regard to the higher, in regard to themselves, which is almost always born from fear or out of a sense of how can I get what I want. In this new alignment, reality unfolds before you perfectly and wonderfully. You get to be the one who is in experience of God, the wonder of God. You get to be the curious aspect of God that has come in your perfect individuality, in your perfect form, at the perfect time to have this realization, to have this experience, to have this union with all things around you. Union is important to understand here because it creates great potential and opportunity. You are no longer claiming the one before you as needing to be this way or that, give you this thing or that, fit into the box you have claimed for them. You allow them to unfold before you, their inherent divinity, whether they are conscious to it or not. Most often, they may not be. Yet when you are in this alignment, in realization with another, in interaction with another, you claim them, you sound the trumpet for them, you hold the space for the divinity in them to step forward in realization of itself. Now, this may be a conscious realization, it may be an unconscious realization. It depends where they are at their stage of evolution, or to use a more practical term, growth. You understand that the growth of the flower is beautiful when the seed starts planting roots. You understand that the growth of the flower is beautiful when the stem is strong enough to poke through the top of the soil. You understand the growth of the flower is beautiful when the flower starts to bud, but is not yet time to bloom. And you understand that the growth of the flower is beautiful when it is in full bloom. You do not judge any stage of the process. You do not judge anyone for where you imagine they are, which is almost always incorrect. But you hold the space for them to grow as they need to, where they need to, in the moment they are in interaction with you. This allowance for growth is actually often quite soft, quite graceful, quite beautiful. You understand that you water a flower, that you provide it nutritious soil, that you give it light encouragement. You do not shove your hand down into the dirt and try and pull it up to where you think it should be, to the level of growth you imagine it should be at. If a flower needs more water, you give it water. If a flower is growing overgrown in every which direction, you may help trim it this way and that. This is the play of actually being in true understanding of where another is and attending to them at that level. This may not be a polite attendance. You may have to say to someone, well, you don't look very good today. And he is interested that we use that example because that is one that humanity claims is often very unpolite or an unkind thing to say. What you may do as you say it, which is always the truth of the saying, is look at them with the incredible eyes of love, of seeing them in their true beauty. And at the same time, you may be in recognition of their attachment to their ideas of their physical or outward beauty and the ways that they have claimed unhealthy imbalances toward this. And if you are in a level of relationship in which you can offer growth while still offering love, which is your alignment as well, then you come to the stage in which your words say one thing and your heart, your alignment, your eyes, your realization with them says something completely different, says something always honest and always true. Sometimes people need to hear that they don't look beautiful today, and at the same time are being flooded with an overwhelming sense of love, an overwhelming sense of awe at the beauty of who they are at the heart and soul level, to have the actual realization that they are beautiful beyond their body, beyond what they could imagine through their ideas of the small ways they have claimed identity, and they move to the sense of realization or knowing or breaking of the false ideas, if you wish, that they could never be anything more than their physical, that they were not a incredibly large, connected, and perfect energetic being that is in growth and realization. At the same time, there may be another you meet that has quite self-harmful tendencies, and it may be of benefit to them to water them by looking them in the eye and exuding the exact same energy of awe and grace and love and saying to them, "My, you look so beautiful today." You understand that the words are different, but the energy, the truth of what you are saying from your heart, from your knowing of your divinity to theirs is exactly the same. This is the beauty of the process. You cannot do this if you are in false alignment, though, claiming your ideas again of who and what other people should be. It is quite easy to look at another and say, "Oh, they are so attached to their ideas of beauty. I will poke and prod at it because I find it fun and I think I'm superior to them." This is never a beneficial way to work, and it is always an invitation to go inside. If you are not acting from the space of love, from the space of knowing who another is, from the space of wanting, or to use a more precise word, of offering the realization of the truth of their infinite divine being to another, then you are not acting from high alignment regardless of the words you are saying. You may say to another, "Wow, you look quite beautiful today," and be in alignment of, why did they do that to their body? Or why are they wearing that? Or they are so attached to their sense of looks, I must compliment them to get them to like me, or so they know that I'm actually sneering at them behind their backs. Again, the words are not what is always most important here. It is the alignment. If you wish to have any interaction with someone today, first recognize before you speak, where is my heart? Is my heart afraid of what they may think of me or what I may think of myself after this interaction? Is my heart wanting something from them or wishing they were different? Is my heart not engaged at all and I'm just thinking about something completely different as we're talking, or just waiting for my turn to speak? Or is my heart absolutely present with them? And regardless of the words I say, they will know that they were loved in that moment, whether it's consciously or at a higher level. When you come to the realization that each and every interaction you are in is there for your benefit, you may have quite wonderful, quite playful, quite surprising and curious life. To be in the space of a child in which you will wave to anyone on the street, talk to them about what you find passionate, be curious about the things they like, their dreams, their desires, their past, their future, their sadnesses, their wondrous moments, is to be in innocence. You understand that in my life, I said that you must be like a child to enter the gates of heaven. That is only to say that the gates of heaven are present for you now, and the child walks right through them without knowing or without any false ideas that they should be anywhere other, that they should be cast out of the garden, that they should not be allowed to enter because this thing or that thing happened to them, because they made this or that mistake at any time, because those around them or their collective society told them that they aren't worthy, or they can't be happy until all the things around them in the world have been fixed. If none of you can be happy until the world is fixed, then you will never be happy, because there is always an idea of something needing to be better, of something needing to be different, of something being wrong. And this idea actually perpetuates itself into exactly what you say you do not wish to see. Now we come to each and every one of you today, not only in words, not only in energy, but in presence. We are able to come to you now in presence in a higher way than we have been able to before, because the energies that Earth is aligning to, both as a planet and humanity, as inhabitants of the Earth, is actually lifting to an octave in which there is more available to you, an experience in which we can come in a more present and high alignment to be with you, to open the doors of what is possible to you, to show you that you are already in the garden, the kingdom, heaven, whatever words you wish to call it, and that the inherent birthright of humanity is this alignment. We say alignment purposefully to emphasize that it is present for you now in experience, regardless of the ways in which humanity might still be playing out the old games of fear and separation and war. This will continue for some time, but not forever. Humanity is making a higher choice now. It is coming to a higher alignment now. And if you have picked up this book and started reading, you are one who has chosen to say, yes, I will be in realization to this. I will have some conscious or unconscious understanding of this. Even if you were to put this book exactly where you found it and never to read it again, the seeds of energy that are contained inside of it and the opening of your mental realization that this is a process that is happening and is ongoing actually plants a seed that will be watered and will grow over time. It may be months, it may be years, it may be lifetimes. It is actually planted inside you now. The seed of my love, the seed of my heart, which has always been there, which I am watering for you now as you continue with your life, regardless of whether you continue with this text or not. We are here for you in presence. We in the higher know ourselves in the collective, outside of separation, in a union and communion of energies that is always present, regardless of if humanity is conscious to it or not. We thank him for sitting with us to allow the realization of this potential to be claimed by humanity now. You may know yourselves beyond your individuality. You may know yourselves beyond your singularity. You may know yourselves in union with each other, with us, and with the beauty of reality in each and every way it manifests, physical, energetic, or beyond, because it is always God, it is always Source unfolding before you. We thank you for sitting with us today. You may stop now. This is the beginning of the first chapter. Thank you.